Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Mayorga, and I have been listening to everything that's been going on the television due to the catastrophe in Kerrville. And one of the things that I've observed as a counselor is the beginning of what we call the blame game. And I thought I always try to make videos that will be helpful with information for people to think about. I'm not offering any opinions or telling people that they should do this. I always look, I do my research, I look for facts, and then I make a video. If the information is beneficial to people, then that's great. People don't want to listen to it. That's also great because everybody has choices. But this is my way of giving back to society and giving back to people with the knowledge that I have. And a lot of times, this is some of my knowledge, and some of it is knowledge that I've researched, and I always like to give credit. This particular information comes from Dr. Gupa in 2024, and it talks about the blame game and why we do it, and how come, what are the reasons behind it. And so I thought I would share this so that people could have an idea, because you're going to hear a lot about it. You're already probably hearing it on television or maybe on Facebook. I hope it overrides, it's overwritten by all the good work that is being done by so many people that have gone out there to help. And actually, I will be making another video tomorrow that talks about survivor guilt, but that's a whole other video. Today, I want to talk about this the blame game, and how it affects everything that everybody is trying to do, because it affects everybody. So, what is the playing the blame game? And there's a couple of reasons for people doing that. One of them is, how does it start? Okay. People begin to finger point you. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Okay. The people that are being told that they didn't do this or that, or that somebody else is pointing a finger at them, begin to deny. It's instinctual. We're human beings. We are reactionary, especially during a time when there's a big catastrophe. A lot of times the emotions are running so high, and nobody's really trying. They're trying to think as clearly as possible, but the emotion can be overwhelming, and this emotion needs to come out one way or the other. And a lot of times it begins like this. Well, they'll begin to play the blame game way before anything, before they've had time to reason it out or think about it or sit down or talk about it. And then they'll play what we call the exclusive game. They exclude. They'll exclude certain groups or certain people from the blame game. They'll just maybe identify one or two persons, okay? Or they'll make somebody the scapegoat. You see that in everyday life. In the family, there's actually in counseling uh, a situation where families will create a scapegoat. They'll pick somebody in the family and point at them for all the problems that are occurring. And in psychology and in counseling, we call that person being scapegoated by the family. Mom and dad are having problems. Well, it's the fault of the oldest. They'll be scapegoating the oldest child because he didn't stop it, or it's his fault because he's misbehaving or she's misbehaving or they're maybe misbehaving. So, okay, and so um, why do we blame? Why do we do the blame game? First of all, it's fear. We've got to do something, say something. We want to blame somebody for whatever happened. We give justification, whatever. All right. So it's fear of consequences, fear of having made a mistake. I saw a couple of things again on Facebook. You can find anything on Facebook, and um, people were putting on there, I did this, I did that, no, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and it just becomes all muddled. and it takes away the energy of what really is going on, which is a rescue mission right now to rescue or to retrieve or to try to continue to give some solace to the families that have lost loved ones. And it's just a, a lot of emotion and energy going into that. And if we take that energy away and begin to use it on blame gaming, then it just kind of makes everything fall apart. Okay. And a lot of times we also do the blame game because we want to protect ourselves, or we want to shift the blame to somebody else. You see that with children. And it's again human nature for us to automatically uh, go in that direction because we are being very reactionary. All the emotions are on the surface. I saw a picture yesterday. Can you of a police officer, and they had taken a picture of him standing there, and you could see the sorrow in the face of the this person, and that's how everybody's trying to do their job, and at the same time trying to deal with the emotions. And here's another side note: people that are doing this kind of work, they seem very pragmatic, and they're very matter of fact when they're giving you information. But that's a survival tactic. If they were to allow the emotion to come through, they'd fall apart. And so that's another thing that people will look at. Oh, they look like they didn't even care. But that's not it at all. Everybody has a survival tactic that they'll engage in when the emotion is so intense that they can't keep doing their job. And right now, they need to keep doing their job. So think about these things. And again, I'm making this video just to give you some thoughts about what really is going on. And when you see all of this happening, um, think about whether you're going to engage in it or not engage in it. It's another thing. Have you ever thought about group thought? It's group. It's actually called groupthink. You see somebody put something on there, and then somebody else will put it, and then before you know it, a lot of people are putting it on there, all negative, all creating, um, taking away energy from something that is needing to happen and helping into this other mode of now blame game, because people then begin to spend their time thinking about this. So it's harmful all the way around. I'm going to talk about the impact, and this is very, I don't want to make an hour long video, but here's the impact that it has. It's twofold negative impact. It has a negative effect. It creates tension and resentment. Now, if you've been around a situation where this has been done and there's tension and resentment, think what work gets done, even at your job, even at home, even planning a vacation, or even that you're going to go to a party or you're going to go to an event, and maybe somebody got the tickets wrong or they came late or whatever it is. It builds tension and resentment, and everything falls apart. It begins to fall apart, and what was going to be a positive situation becomes a negative situation. Everybody becomes defensive, and then it just becomes a vicious cycle. You ever seen couples argue? And they do the blame game a lot, and it becomes a little vicious cycle. Somebody has to decide to stop it. All right. There might have to be a third party, somebody that comes in and says, okay, take a breath and let's look at this situation realistically. What are we focused on right now? That's what we need to focus on, and stop the blame game, because it's not going to get us anywhere. Okay. So then, what are some of the things that we have to do to get past it or not fall into it? Number one, work as a team. Work as a team, create instead some empathy. If you don't know what empathy means, I put it this way: you need to step behind the person and look through their eyes and see what they're seeing, what their perception is, what their perspective is, and you're not going to be sympathetic. You're going to be empathic. You're going to have empathy for whatever that person is doing or going through, and trying to make decisions while they're receiving all of this negativity. So have some empathy for the situation. Okay, create clear roles. My I'm tongue twisting there. and make sure that everybody understands what they need to do and that that's what you need to do. If my role is to go and pick up paper on the at the outside in the yard for the next 30 minutes, that's my role. That's my role and responsibility. Everything else is not does not uh, matter to me at that moment because the person that was next to me now has their role and they're doing their role, and I have no reason to cross that boundary and go over there and try to tell them what they should or shouldn't be doing. Okay, and that's what happens sometimes. Things cross over and everything begins to fall apart. So you have to have really good leadership, somebody that can take the leadership role and be able to designate and keep things going. All right. Uh, Emphasize solutions. What do we need to do right now? What would be a solution for this? There's a theory called solution focus, which is about that. When a client comes in, there's a lot of things going on, but what's the main problem right now? Let's see what we can do to help with this main problem. And you'll need to do A, B, and C to get through that. And then we'll pick up the next situation or the next issue. A lot of times people try to put all the issues into a bag and take care of all the issues all at one time. It doesn't work. It creates more chaos than not. Okay? So blame game or playing the blame game impacts everything, relationships and organizations. It makes everything fall apart. It stops the process of moving forward. So you shift the focus off of what's important. You draw away energy of what needs to be done, and it's now energy being used that's getting you nowhere. So these are things, again, that you need to think about. And when you see somebody doing the blame game, uh, think about this and see if you can interject. Wait a minute, this isn't getting us anywhere. I call those the mediators, somebody that can step up and say, no, stop, because two people that are doing the blame game or two groups doing the blame game, it'll just get out of control and it will become vicious and it'll become a vicious cycle and it could lead to situations that make everything fall apart. So, how to prevent the blame game? Again, assign responsibilities. Here's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. And part of being human is mistakes. And it is not how we're going to make the mistakes, it's when we're going to make the mistakes. And we have to recognize that sometimes these things happen. The intensity of the emotion is what starts the blame game. Okay? I've got to do something. I've got this intense emotion in me and I've got to get it out and I've got to find somewhere to put it. And so I'm going to do that. Most of the time, after people play this game, nobody stops to ask what was prompting you to do that. And if that person was truly honest with themselves and authentic and able to take responsibility for playing the blame game, they would probably say, it just, I had to. I am just so angry. I'm so frustrated. I'm so this and so that. And they'll begin to name emotions that we normally put into the negative pile. We don't want people to be frustrated. We don't want them to be angry or sad or grieving or anything like that. We want them to be in a positive pile, happy, joyful. And so this is something that we all need to be very, very aware of. I think that there's some wonderful leadership that really understand that the blame game doesn't get anybody anywhere. And I wanted to make this because of what's going on, but there's catastrophes happening all the time. It happened in North Carolina when the hurricane came. It's happened, I've lived through hurricanes in Corpus Christi. It happened there. I remember a long time ago. Uh, we were we had no electricity, we had no water, we had no ice. It was the middle of the summertime. We were trying to buy ice, and everybody was blaming everybody for gouging on the gas, gouging for selling ice, just all sorts of stuff. And the real culprit here is the level of emotion that's running across the board for everyone. more so for the people that are right in the middle of trying to handle this catastrophe. So I'm just going to leave you with that. If you think about it or you see it playing itself out, um, share some of this information if you can. I'm not saying to put yourself out there and be in the middle of a brawl or anything like that. Certainly not. And make sure you're protecting yourself. But it's important for us to recognize that this doesn't get us anywhere. And when we see someone begin to try to fall into that and draw people into their corner of negativity, that we have the ability to say, no, not I. I'm going to walk away and I'm going to continue to do the things that I need to do. Later, we'll have time to sit down and review everything and see where, if there was a mistake made, where the mistake was made, and how we can change that and improve it. Right? It's things that we are able to do if we think clearly and step away for a moment. And right now, it's difficult to think clearly because there's so much emotion. But we do have the ability to take that step. So may you all have a good day. And thank you for viewing my video. And please hit like. Thanks.